Anyways,
ठीक
hi
है बोल।
guys, welcome back to the podcast, and we are back बहुत जल्दी, like 4 दिन भी नहीं हुए, but yeah, it's very late in the night because why not? And we are talking about Formula One again. This time about the Australian GP. It's about 2 days from now, or I don't know कि exactly ये episode कब आएगा, but I will try to put it before Saturday, basically before the GP. And yeah, of course, as usual, Krishanu will have his thoughts on how Mercedes can climb its way back up. And let's start with him because मेरे को सबसे ज़्यादा इंटरेस्ट अभी उस पर आ रहा है कि ऑस्ट्रेलियन जी पी, एज वी ऑल नो, बहुत ही थ्रॉटल फ्रेंडली ट्रैक है. इट्स जस्ट यू नीड टू हैव कंट्रोल ऑन योर सेल्फ. इट्स अ वेरी वेरी फ्लोई सर्किट एट लाइक द सेक्टर 1 एंड सेक्टर 3 आर वेरी वेरी लाइक उसको देख के ना ऐसा पोएटिक फील आता है कि हाँ ये सर्किट होना चाहिए, ये बढ़िया लग रहा है देखने में. तो या ऑफ कोर्स लॉट ऑफ टीम्स आर गोना गेन एडवांटेजेस हियर. प्रॉब्ली रेड बुल not so much, but let's see what happens. What do you think, Krishan? क्या क्या सीन हो सकता है इधर?
सीन बोले तो कैसा हो जाएगा कि गोइंग बाय द फॉर्म बुक टिल नाउ, इट सिंपली इज लुकिंग लाइक एस्टन और रेड बुल माइट बी playing for the spoils. But
Mm-hmm.
there is a notable thing here. Ferrari had gone very well last year, right here around Melbourne, because they dominated the pole, they dominated the race. Charles was just driving around on his own, obviously, which was aided by Red Bull's retirement and all, which we should not get back to. But Ferrari might be a dark horse here. And secondly, Mercedes का क्या कहना है? Mercedes, the car is working, I should say, but the car is lacking downforce. That's what bothers me about this. Because Mercedes is if it is performing well in the corners, it is getting too draggy around the straight. So yes, yeah, the corners are flowing and the corners are fast. The circuit has a flowy structure to it, and there are not many tight corners around the circuit. So I think the true potential of W14 will be shown here, because last year we saw it with porpoising. I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm keep saying it. मैं बार बार बोल रहा हूँ इसको, because the bouncing was so rigorous last year that we were not able to see the true potential of this package. And this year they have
Makes
eliminated
sense.
the bouncing. They have eliminated the bouncing so they can try to analyze the performance, what they can do about that. Talking about the other midfield teams, McLaren all lost hope, and I am I must say, एक चीज बोलूंगा कि विंड टनल के ऊपर बहुत ज्यादा भरोसा किया हुआ है, एंड इट बेटर कम गुड फॉर मैक्लारेन when that wind tunnel comes online, because if it
Yeah.
doesn't, they're in deep shit. And secondly, Haas, Alpha Tauri, and all those other midfield teams like Williams, Alfa Romeo, they will be in a close fight, but they will be fighting for the rest of the points. But if you tell me a class of the field, it will be Red Bull. But mind you, Red Bull have never got pole here. They've never got a pole here, and I don't remember them winning a race here in Melbourne since 2013, I guess. Correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah, I
but
think they
they have
haven't. I
not
think
won a
एक
race.
second. एक मिनट. Let
They
me quickly pull it up then. Yeah, continue.
Yes, because they haven't won a race, I think, and this is kind of their bogey circuit, I must say. So yeah, other teams have some chance to stop that 1-2 runs of Red Bull, and intra-team rivalry in Red Bull might be a very interesting thing to see now, because what we saw in Jeddah might be just an outlier. There are many things awaiting in the season.
Okay. Apparently,
So
Red Bull
yeah,
has, I don't think, ever won here.
yeah. That's
Wow.
what
Did
I'm
not
saying.
know that. Did not know that. Damn. Anyway, so about McLaren, I also have a pointer because मैं कोई तो podcast देख रहा था. I don't remember the name, man. I will definitely ऐसा pull out the name, because it was very like it was so cleanly put down in one sentence about McLaren कि McLaren were supposed to make an aerodynamic car. They were supposed to make a car which
Yeah.
had downforce. Instead, they made a draggy car. Now here's the thing: drag and downforce go hand in hand. Because
Hand
if
in
you have
hand.
more
Yeah.
downforce, you have more drag.
You have
But
more drag.
for McLaren, somehow they've made a car which has more drag but no downforce. How is
Don't
that
know.
possible? It was just so funny.
That
Like it kind of makes. I know it's not like 100% true, right? There is a difference between
exactly.
downforce and drag, but it kind of made sense if you're like if you're just wanna in a nutshell kind of explain what McLaren is doing this year. It's kind of true. और वो देख के मेरे को इतना इतना लाइक 2 मिनट तो मैं पॉज करके सोचा कि यार ये बंदे ने क्या सोच के ये बोला होगा. इट्स जस्ट सो फनी. इट वाज सो नाइस. एनीवेज वी आल्सो हैव
But
अरविंद टुडे. आई फॉरगॉट कि मैंने इंट्रोड्यूस नहीं किया, बट आई गेस ही डजंट नीड एनी इंट्रोडक्शन. ही हैज़ बीन हियर ऑन द पॉडकास्ट बिफोर. तो what are your thoughts, man? What do you think? Is Australian GP going to show us something new about the cars, about the teams, or is it just going to be the same thing?
Yeah, so hello everyone. And to answer your first question, you asked me which team I support. So
Yeah.
12 months ago, I there's a new feature in Insta recently, which was memories, right? It just
Yeah.
shows what you posted
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
year,
Yeah.
and I opened it, to, and it said 12 months ago I was not on land. मैं जमीन पे नहीं था, मैं कूद रहा था क्योंकि it was obvious फेरारी को सपोर्ट कर रहा था. मैं स्टोरीज में लिख रहा हूँ कि फेरारी जीत गया चैंपियनशिप फील्ड, शार्ल लेक्लर वन. मैं ऑस्ट्रेलियन जीपी में डिसाइड करके बैठा था. उतना
Wow.
हाइप में था मैं. वो देखा आई क्रिंज्ड आउट अ बिट बट इट्स दैट्स एंड टू आंसर क्वेश्चन, मुझे इस साल लगता है आई एम हम्बल्ड अ बिट द वे फेरारी इज गोइंग. सो मैं ज्यादा कूद नहीं पाऊंगा. सो आई बी प्रीटी रियलिस्टिक विथ माय आंसर एंड I'm gonna go safe this time. I think Red Bull have it in their bag, no doubt. In fact, I was reading an article before joining this podcast, which talked about the rear wing. So since
Yeah,
this is
the
a
triple DRS.
yes, exactly.
The
yeah.
same video,
Since
right?
this yeah,
सबकी
since this
रिकमेंडेशन में आ गया वो वीडियो.
वो तो एक ही करते
Yeah.
हैं.
Hmm.
So like since this is a fast flowing circuit, I think that will aid them a lot. And Jeddah में जो हुआ था Hamilton के comments Red Bull पे, he
Yep.
literally said like I've never seen a car like this fast. So I think that was a bit exaggerated, which is what I felt, because Mercedes was the slowest in the speed trap in Jeddah. उतना उतना डिफरेंस तो नहीं रहेगा इस बार, मुझे लग रहा है इस वीकेंड. बट आई स्टिल थिंक रेड बुल आर गोना डोमिनेट, and I am praying that Ferrari gets near to a podium. So that's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Looking
man.
forward to
It's
Fernando. Fernando. Yeah.
yeah. My thing is कि if अगर टेक्निकली देखा जाए तो बहरेन एंड ऑस्ट्रेलियन सर्किट दे हैव अ कपल ऑफ थिंग्स हियर एंड देयर व्हिच आर वेरी सिमिलर in terms of turns, right? It's got tight turns. It's got turns कि you might need to lift off for a second. मैंने बोला कि इस पे throttle control बहुत चाहिए ये वाले सर्किट पे. And it's I think it's going to be exactly like what we saw in Bahrain. Red Bulls just pulled off a massive gap और उसके पीछे like people were fighting for the third place or the second place. That's going to be the thing. I मेरा ये completely like natural organic take है ये. So yeah, I guess it's going to be tough for any other team to match up, but we know कि upgrades are coming. And if any team decides कि fuck we want to fuck with any of the other teams that we are competing with, then always cool for us, right? Good racing, clean racing is all we want as fans. And I think yeah, we've gotten that in the midfield right now. Like it's a bit tough on the top place because they're just pulling away. They're just both the drivers are pulling away. What are your thoughts, Ajay?
So like Krishanu said, I'm not going to talk about Red Bull as a car or as a team. It's about the entertainment battle, which I'm
Yeah,
watching
yeah,
yesterday.
same.
वहां पे क्या होगा ना, ये ज्यादा फंडे वाली बात है. ठीक है. Behind them, Aston is definitely doing good. So I hope not, and I hope again, just like Jeddah, his point is true. Ferrari are dark horse, and being a tifosi, I would like to seeing a race win or something like that, to be very honest. Just like Arvind said, last year मैंने भी ख्वाब बोल दिए थे कि इस बार तो फरारी ही जीतेगा, but
वो
it was a
2007 वाला
heartbreak.
वेट अभी तक चल रहा है.
2008 से वेट अभी तक चल रहा है. I think that
Yes.
was single point curse is still going on of Felipe Massa.
Ah, that was just so sad,
So
man. That was just so sad.
I know. But nevertheless, like you said in the starting, it's a good circuit. It's a technical circuit, good right, left turn combination, quite a few slow corners as well, quite a few fast corners as well. Last year they revamped the track a little bit,
हम्म.
around turn 8, 9, something like that,
हाँ, वो थोड़ा वाइड कर
where
दिया उसको.
they made it wide and they made it a little bit more free flowing, right, to carry on the speed and all those kind of things, right? But Ferrari, I was reading that they have analyzed that the issue in the car lies in the floor. I don't know how much that is true, but like you said, there might be upgrades coming, there might be floor upgrades coming, there might be the other upgrades which also might be coming. Now that we are almost a month from the testing that happened, almost a month.
हम्म.
Okay, so it's quite an interesting thing where we will land up and see which team will do. Red Bull have not yet won. Hamilton have won it over here at least 7 times, I think. Yes, 6 to 7 times.
Yes,
And yeah, there comes a McLaren fan, Mercedes fan, Hamilton fan to say yes. So
I have.
ब्रो मेरा पता है पूरा वीकेंड इतना सुंदर
बोल लो
जाता है ना,
बोल लो.
क्योंकि पूरा जो रेड बुल का फियास्को होता है उधर मजा आता है, और फिर वीकेंड खत्म हो गया इन दोनों का फियास्को देखने में इतना मजा आता है. मैं बोला हाँ ये देखने आया था मैं, यही यही चाहिए मुझे.
मजा आता है ना
ये पहली बार ऐसा हो रहा है, पता है.
मजा
आई हैव बीन
राइट.
मेकिंग एंड अपलोडिंग टू यूट्यूब फॉर 3 years, ठीक है, एंड दिस इज द फर्स्ट टाइम वेयर आई हैवंट हैड टू डू एनी वर्क फॉर कंटेंट. ये दोनों दे देते हैं पूरा.
Like
जस्ट
I
सो
said
वो
earlier
देने
also, कंटेंट बहुत है अपने पास.
सही जगह
बस
चाहिए बस
टैप
डालने के
करने
लिए.
की जरूरत है.
यस यस यस.
Exactly.
ओ वही सब्सक्राइब, नीचे सब्सक्राइब बटन और दबाओ, और
हाँ,
व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप भी
So
ज्वाइन करो इफ यू कैन.
yeah, more interesting thing is Oscar Piastri's first race in his homeland, so that will be something to watch upon. How
Oh
much
yeah.
McLaren will which how much McLaren
exactly.
will live up to its potential to give him a good debut race in this country. Daniel Ricciardo had very bad time in his homeland, so I hope Oscar Piastri does not have the same bad time on his home circuit and he goes and wins some races down the future. But this one coming this weekend, I hope he scores some good points. At least must McLaren too come up a little bit. Then Papaya, we need to see. There will be a lot of fan cheering for Piastri. So I hope the kid does well.
All
I
right.
hope Oscar Piastri has some patience in him now because McLaren didn't show any with Ricardo.
Yeah, look, man. Like I said, all the newcomers, they haven't got a real chance at anywhere scoring podiums or like scoring top points. Let's be realistic, but it's just to see them be against their own teammates, which have been in the sport for at least 2 or 3 years now. They're not veterans yet. The teammates, like Norris is not a veteran, Sonoda is not a veteran, but still Albon too. These guys are good drivers, and the newcomers are almost at par with them or just beating them. Right? It's good.
Exactly.
The competition is high. That tells you कि even like कितने सारे people are deserving to come to Formula One, but there's just 20 cars. You can't have more than 20 drivers, and it's just sad कि a lot of deserving people don't get to drive. लेकिन also it's good to see the competition कि they're so cutthroat. They're just every tenth of a second matters in a lap, every lap, and yeah, I'm just happy seeing good racing, even if it's not for points. Like even if it is a battle between 16th or 17th or 18th or 19th, even 20th or 19th, I'm okay seeing that. I just want good racing. So yeah, I hope we get that in Australia. Or yeah, any hot takes by the way, like तुम लोग के हिसाब से क्या bizarre चीज हो सकती है जिसकी वजह से Mercedes जीत जाए. Mercedes.
Red Bull DNF.
हाँ रेड बुल डे था
फर्नांडो
शायद।
या
अलोंसो एंड
लास्ट ईयर
लुइस
राइट।
हैमिल्टन झगड़ा हो जाए
यार वो
दोनों
तो
का
होता
ट्रैक
रहता
Yeah,
है यार। यार आई
yeah.
आई जस्ट डोंट गेट देयर। ठीक है देख, आई गेट द राइवलरी बिटवीन वर्स्टैपन एंड पेरेज राइट, सेम कार इक्वल मशीनरी। I get the beef between Hamilton and Nico Rosberg,
अलोंसो
let's say. नहीं Alonso, okay,
रॉसबर्ग
हाँ,
या
about that relationship I don't get कि last year if you remember Spa में right, Hamilton ने उड़ा दी थी गाड़ी, he took off
हाँ
after touching Alonso's tire. The words that Alonso said, अगर कोई मुझे बोलता मैं उससे कभी लाइफ में वापस बात नहीं करता, ठीक है, but next day, did you see the post by Mercedes? Like they're hugging and all. Like what?
हाँ यस
This is like this is good
दिस इज
sportsmanship. I did
एक्चुअली
not expect that.
that that is sportsmanship and that is F1 politics for you.
Like that is also okay.
Like
One more thing. That also could be because they're in the later part of their careers, right? They have understood
exactly.
कि there is competition,
Mhm.
but like I don't think it means a lot to them now. Winning versus having people who root for you. बट वो जब यंग होते हैं ना, व्हेन
See
यंग ब्लड,
what
मैंने जैसे बोला ना अभी कि मैं बात नहीं करता किसी से, मैं सच में नहीं करता यार, मैं आई एम टू
exactly.
यंग फॉर दैट शिट, आई एम टू यंग टू बी मैच्योर, तो मैं नहीं करता वो बात। सिंपल है, बट ये आई थिंक दे हैव ग्रोन अप, दैट्स ऑल।
See one guy has
it's
7 world championships and one guy has two. The the two-time world champion wants to win more. The seven-time world champion guy probably doesn't need to win anymore because he's already proven himself in the sport, but he wants that age. So both have that desire and hunger. So there will be on-track ferocities between them. And looking at their history, like Lewis was a rookie when he joined McLaren.
McLaren,
Fernando
yeah,
was a two-time champion, and the way he took off with McLaren, like
yeah.
I've never seen any other rookie like that, apart from Max Verstappen in
Almost won
2016.
a race, right?
Because
Almost won
yes,
the
Almost
which,
won
he
the
almost
championship.
won the yes,
Won
yeah,
the
yes,
yeah, yeah,
championship. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
they were level pegging on
I'm sorry,
points
yeah, I was talking
at
about
the
the
end of
Uh,
the
championship. Sorry.
year.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
were level pegging on points at the end of the year. So that is some top class performance from a rookie, and I don't think F1 has seen such a performance from a rookie in many years. Even with Verstappen also, he had to go through Toro Rosso,
Toro
then to
Rosso,
Red
yeah,
Bull.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess he spent 1 year at Toro Rosso. Then halfway during the point, he in 2016 he got promoted to Red Bull, and he won it.
Mm.
And he won it. So there, there may be something very ferocious going on between them because in 2007 Spygate happened. Then
Mm-hmm.
2008 when Alonso left, Hamilton won the title, and Alonso was left ruined. And after that, it has been some series of bad decisions for career decisions for Alonso. And on the other hand, Lewis was raking up wins, poles, podiums, championships, fastest lap. You name it, he has it. So I get the rivalry, and it's very good to see that they are when they race, they keep it on the track only. That is a
Yeah,
good
I
thing.
mean, I think इस बात पे SJ would be able to inject more on this particular topic because I mean, I think he has just more experience from above all of us. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's hear him. Let's hear him out. I just
so
called you
it's not
old.
about
So
the
sorry. I'm so sorry.
yeah, it's okay. No, you called me experienced. You did not call me old, so I take it as a positive point. Yeah, I
I
took it as a
worded it right.
compliment. Thanks, man. And it sounded right as well. But
उसके बाद फिर
no,
मैंने repeat कर दिया.
what happened,
Yeah, yeah.
right? But what happened in 2007 was very evident that there were two roasters in the team and both wanted to win. McLaren lost the drivers' championship just by 1 point to Kimi at the Brazilian Grand Prix in 2007. The very next year, they won it by 1 point again to Felipe Massa, the drivers' championship. Okay,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
then there was Spygate. There was some good old rivalry between the two. Like you said, they have aged and
Mm-hmm.
they know that they want some good racing ahead of it. At the heat of the moment, most of the drivers they tend to do something, they tend to say something on the radio, and sometimes it is telecasted, which we as a audience sitting outside watching it on the TV or on our apps or wherever we hear it. But it's not about that. It's all about the racing, when we are into something, when we are concentrating on something and somebody comes and disturbs us, definitely we tend to, go a little bit hasty towards that person. But at the end of the day, we just say, sorry, jab bhi maar lete hain, and it all cools down. So that's okay. What happens is something which happened in Brazil with Max
Hmm.
Verstappen and Ocon, which happened outside after the race finished, you know.
Yeah,
And Hamilton said in that he did not have to lose anything, and that is where, you know, post 2021, Max has matured a lot, but we still see that
aggression.
blinks of that aggression or immature behavior time and time again from him. Um, Maybe it in Brazil or maybe it in Jeddah, where he was asked to hold on, maintain 33-second, 133 lap, and he went for a fast lap. But that we have seen from a lot of different drivers previously as well. Saib multi to one scenario in 2013 in Malaysia. So many times, so many occasions, the young fast driver, they seem to own it. Okay. Hamilton at that point of time failed to own it. Seb in 2013 failed to own it. Okay, so that happens. So it does not really bother. What bothers is how you behave outside as a person, not as a racer. When you are on a track, when you're on a car, you are a racer. You are driving to win. You are driving for a team. You're driving to win, both for the team and yourself. Outside, it does not matter. You're just a human being. You're just a sports personality. You're just an athlete, just like the
Yeah,
other person.
yeah.
So it has to cool down.
So that
Yeah.
was the
So
mature take. And now एक ही इंसान है जो मेरी एज का इधर. I'm gonna ask him, do you have any thoughts that are different to this? Because I have. Arvind, let's go.
हाँ. So हाँ, I want to add to that point about Hamilton. मतलब 2007 में उसका rookie year में he like almost lost the championship I guess by 1 point if I'm not wrong. और
Hmm.
वो भी क्यों था मतलब pit करने से पहले he got stuck in the gravel. His tires were dead, which was kind of unfortunate I
Shanghai.
feel. हाँ Shanghai में हाँ, which was kind of
Yeah.
unfortunate I feel. The same way what जो हुआ था 2021 में last lap में, वो भी उसके हाथों में मतलब था नहीं, it was out of his hand. And he was quite unfortunate in terms of two championships, at least in my opinion. I feel that, and yeah, and that is, and still, like he just goes on. It goes to say a lot about his mental character. And if you consider Fernando as well, matlab, he is known for making bad moves. I mean, getting into poor cars. I mean, it's his bad luck. अभी इस साल जाके मिला है उसे मतलब a car which could compete for podiums, and he's loving it. So it's really heartening to see jovial Fernando cracking jokes in the car, saying how he loves the car, how much he loves the car and the team. तो हाँ वो सब अच्छा है. And the part where I I don't I might be wrong, but I feel kind of Fernando has some grudge towards Hamilton. क्योंकि मैं I saw this shorts on YouTube. He was in this Spanish podcast where he was explaining how Hamilton's behavior has changed over years, and he was talking about how Hamilton has isolated himself, मतलब from everyone in the grid. हमेशा अकेला रहता है. He prefers staying alone. डिस्कस नहीं करता वो मतलब या आई फील थोड़ा कुछ ही इज ट्राइंग टू पोक हिम और ही इज बी जस्ट बीइंग ऑनेस्ट एंड स्टेटिंग द फैक्ट यू कैन टेक इट लाइक दैट एज वेल मगर या दैट्स माय टेक ऑन बोथ ऑफ देम एंड या
Uh, so yeah, this thing I completely agree with Joe. If you're saying कि Alonso ने ये podcast पे बोला है that Hamilton tends to isolate himself and all. Now here's the thing. Okay, this can be viewed as two things. Like he's just there. Ki I'm me. I'm Lewis Hamilton. How I can do anything I want. Why would I talk to these guys? ठीक है? Or it could be taken as कि I'm locked in. I don't want to be disturbed. ठीक है? Now here's the thing. Okay. Okay, I don't know how to put this in words because I genuinely believe, out of all the sports that I've seen or played or just been following for years, I have seen a lot of friends enter the sport together, and when they start to compete, it just breaks down. I'm not saying कि a friendship cannot go through that, I cannot go through competition. It can, but I've rarely seen that happen. And as we
Lewis
know,
and Nico is a great example.
of course, great example. Equal cars, they had equal opportunities. they they were friends. As we know, हमने बहुत videos देखे हैं them hugging after podiums
Hmm.
together and stuff, and then we've
Exactly.
seen them standing on podium not talking to each other too, right, in a span of
Yeah.
what, 12 14 months, right? So I genuinely believe कि where there is competition, there's aggression, it's tough to maintain friendships, right? And you can be fake on the outside, right? You can be all like, oh, we're cool,
Hmm.
ठीक है, but everybody knows what goes on inside, right? um I don't know if this is like 100% accurate example, लेकिन when Ricardo was in Red Bull, of course Max Verstappen was their prodigy, they spent millions on him, Red Bull, and they wanted him to win. Ricardo, being a good driver, had in a good car, he was also scoring, right? The team decided that they want to stick with Verstappen. With his backs against the wall, he decided to move, right? So there's always going to be this point of convergence where it will start to kind of break down. Um, However mature you are, it's just tough to maintain, to go through something like that together and still stay together. If that makes sense, right? It's just tough to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying कि friendships haven't stood the test of time. It's all good. Actually, you know what? Very honestly, मैंने बहुत सारे players को, even in NBA, which I like I say religiously follow, I've seen a lot of players be like fucking like at each other's throat when they're playing, and after they retire, they understand, they respect the other person. Like, yes, you
Hmm.
made me go to these heights and all that. So yes, competition is there, maturity is there, but yeah, that's my take on it. Ki aggression, where there's just the hunger to win, it's just really tough to stay together as friends. That's all I want to say.
Hmm.
Yeah, coming back to the Australian GP, of course. Do you have any other thoughts on the midfield? हमने top order की तो बात कर ली, Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull, Aston Martin, of course, is again probably gonna surprise all of us. But anything about the midfield, like the proper midfield? Do you think there's gonna be anyone who's gonna surprise us?
I think
I
Haas.
personally want to see, sorry, Krishna. I personally want to see how Williams are going to perform. They are quick on the straights. They are very good on fast circuits. I want to see how they will perform on more technical circuits. And yes, just like Krishna said, Haas. I
Hmm.
want to see how Haas performs uh, in Australia. You know, they have not been quite the best in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. So let's hope that they get their act together and they score some good points. Hulkenberg mentioned both have a good amount of experience on the Australian circuit. So let's hope for the best from them. Okay. Other than that, I want to see how AlphaTauri will behave. Like De Vries and Sonoda, they have a good car as well, but they have been really bad. They've been lurking behind, just right ahead of McLaren. So that's my
Yeah.
few visible points to take away or to focus on in Australia.
Yeah.
Do you think if
I
if
just
Debris goes Debris, wow, sorry, I am so sorry. It's मेरे दिमाग में वो
debris.
चिपक गया यार वो
हाँ,
साइंस ने
साइंस
बोला था
वाला,
ना, so
Debris.
साइंस
yeah.
वाला, हाँ.
Do you think like De Vries has been great in the Williams car last year? He had been great. The first two races have been unfortunate kind of for him. Do you think if he can make it through a good qualifying, and Sargent too, a good qualifying, like हमने देखा था Sargent का lap एक छोटी सी mistake के वजह से delete हो गया at the start finish line almost. Do you think they are actually capable of scoring points with the cars they have, which aren't the best, but yes, they are still capable of scoring points? Do you think that could happen in Australia for both of them?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with SJ where he said we can't count out Williams. क्योंकि
Yeah.
last year क्या हुआ था? You remember Albon didn't pit at all until the last lap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He went like in one tire पूरा. Last lap में आके he pitted and then he finished in points. So I feel Australia is a good track for Williams. So and I'm very keen to watch Logan Sargent. मतलब आप तक मतलब पूरा पोटेंशियल बाहर नहीं आया लग रहा है क्योंकि टू रेसेस इट्स हार्ड टू जज एंड अबाउट डिफरीज आई थिंक it has to click for him. Maybe 2 races he's getting used to the Red Bull philosophy or the
Mm-hmm.
team. ये नया team है, he's getting used to it. And जो देखा है last year in Monza, what he could do, putting Williams in the points in his very debut, I think it's hard to count him out. So midfield में I really want Williams and AlphaTauri to do better.
या कृष्ण, लेट्स गो मैन। मर्सिडीज क्या कर सकता है मिडफील्ड में?
Mercedes.
ऑफिशियली मिडफील्ड टीम नाउ, ऑफिशियली
Midfield.
मिडफील्ड टीम,
कितना
ऑफिशियली।
अजीब लगता है.
अच्छा, it's a midfield team now. Okay. What's the standing of the Mercedes right now?
It's
Constructor standing में कहाँ पे है वो?
ऑनेस्टली आई
it's
डोंट केयर अबाउट द मिडफील्ड टीम। मैं सिर्फ टॉप देखता हूँ अभी।
P2
नहीं,
की
I'm kidding,
P3.
I'm
It's on
kidding, I'm just
third.
kidding.
It's on
हाँ,
Third,
third.
okay, okay.
फरारी का है, फरारी का है.
हाँ,
आएगा
अरे
भाई.
मैं थोड़ी फरारी फैन। why are you taking shots at someone who said nothing about it?
Right.
Yeah,
The,
anyways.
actually, I have noticed something regarding that Williams. You said that it had the fastest. It was fastest around the straight. So it just made me think. Aston is using the rear suspension, gearbox, and numerous other parts from Mercedes. So वहां से कोई problem नहीं है. They have designed a damn good rear
Mhm.
suspension, which is working
Cool.
aerodynamically. Their gearbox is working well. Their engine is very much kicking. That's why Williams are able to tune it out to be fastest or down the straight. So they have everything technically. Like the main hardware, the heart of the car is very good. Their rear suspension is very good. I said it in the last episode also. But after seeing Williams down that straight, it was like कि यार इनके पास तो है. They have that straight line speed. They have a good rear suspension. They just need to fine tune their aero knowledge because what happens when we have an engine formula like like we had in 2014, a team when it gets it right, they have that advantage baked in for a couple of years. Like we saw with Mercedes. Till 2016, it was unbeatable. It was untouchable. Then 2017, 18, 19, Ferrari came. Then 2020, again it hit the ballpark with that dash. And let's be honest, W11 was a aerodynamically very sound car. That gave
Oh,
them the
very sound.
basis to develop that gave them the basis to develop the W12, which they didn't evolve it that much because they were confident about their philosophy. So they made the regulation changes as requested, and yeah, the car had some issues that, and at the same time, Honda and Red Bull also caught up with them. So one team rising and the Titan falling down, I must say. But in 2022, they didn't particularly fall down the roof because when we see the in-season development, they were actually on an upward trajectory. Like winning a race in Brazil, beating the Red Bull on pure pace. That is not a joke. And given they were fighting Ferrari for second place in the constructors championship in the first place in Abu Dhabi,
Mm-hmm.
that in itself is a statement of their development rate and their determination to push the team forward. So in a way, they have their tools and they can do it. So that Imola upgrade may give us some clear picture about in which direction they were going with this zero side pod concept because Mike Elliott said that the side pods are going to be changed. So that evolutionary upgrade package when it arrives in Imola, there remains to be seen that what it can do. But for Australia, I must say that second or third might be their best shot if they manage to beat Ferrari. Because in in
Yeah, yeah,
Jeddah
go ahead.
also, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
in Jeddah also, Aston, Ferrari, and Mercedes, like I said, they were actually on very much आगे पीछे थे वो लोग pace में. Like Aston was couple of tenths faster, then Mercedes was faster, then Ferrari was faster. So there is a bit of a there is a bit of some juggling going on for second and third place in the podium. because
हाँ,
sorry, for the third place, because Red Bull ने तो 1-2 seal कर लिया था 2 races के लिए. But for this race, it might be interesting because Red Bull has never won on this circuit, and secondly, the driver fiasco might be another chapter in that book, in their book. And yeah, pretty much Mercedes should aim for a podium because that's where they belong. That's where they should belong. Because their customer team beating them, that doesn't go down well with the board.
It's
Neither it
humiliation.
goes down
Yeah,
well
yeah.
with the, yeah.
All right, so we've talked about a lot of teams either, and the one team that we have covered, like actually two teams that we haven't covered a lot about, Alfa Romeo and my personal favorite, Alpine, because everybody knows कि वो गैसली ओकॉन वाला battle मुझे बहुत पसंद है. It's just personally my favorite. Battle of the French, it's just too good. What are your thoughts about Alpine? Because as we've seen, कि a lot of us a lot of people speculated ki they haven't been giving their all during the testing or during the first race. I don't know why. It just seemed, yeah, they belonged in the midfield at the point, and but since then they have actually covered a lot of ground, to be very honest. So what do you think about Alpine's upgrade? Nahi, not about the upgrades actually. I don't think they have upgraded anything in the car, but just in general about how Alpine has been behaving. It's a bit strange, I get, but what are your thoughts about it? Let's hear them.
My thoughts about Alpine are they have a good car. In Bahrain, Gasly finished from P20 to P9.
P9, yep.
Very good run. Very good run. Given it was his first race in the car. Even in Jeddah, both the cars were running very good at what 8 and 9, I guess. So that was again very good.
Hmm.
Uh, Good racing by the team. They have the philosophy built in. I don't know why these few teams which were really doing good last season are struggling a bit, like Ferrari, Alpine, both Alfa Romeo, Haas. They all did very well starting of the season last year, but somehow they have gone back. Okay, my personal shock was that of Haas and Alfa Romeo. Valtteri Bottas is very silent. Uh, the other driver is also good. He's also made a name for himself, scored points regularly, but uh, they're all silent. They are not making noise in the car. I don't know why. It's something of a development which is wrong for them. Uh, See, Alpine is having its own engine, right? Alfa Romeo is having Ferrari engine. We know Ferrari engine is good, if not the best. Okay, so what exactly have gone wrong for them is something which is very surprising for me, including Haas. Uh, so that mystery which is not unveiling itself. But I really like to see Alpine maybe even beating Ferrari or Mercedes, in Australia, uh, given the nature of the circuit. So I'm expecting quite a bit of surprises over here. And also that quite a past few years, the safety car has been very normal in almost all the races, but in Australia as well. There is not much of the runoff area. So let's hope for the best and let's hope for the good racing from these teams as well.
Yeah. So what do you think?
Um, yeah, so considering the team battle in Alpine, दोनों मतलब solid drivers हैं. You can't count them out at all. They have the French team. I mean, it looked good when the news came out, and yeah, they did lag in the testing, but I think they'll catch up soon because they have been consistently performing and being scoring points, being in the points, and वो P5 P4 slot in the championship is meant for Alpine as far as I'm concerned. I think हमेशा उसी एरिया में रहता है. So with they have two very good drivers who can score points, who can push the car to the limit. तो मतलब हाँ, मुझे लगता है like they have a real shot at points and in Australia. And considering Alfa Romeo, they share Ferrari engine, and but their aerodynamic concept is quite different from Ferrari. If you see, Haas and Ferrari have a similar one, but Alfa Romeo, they have their own design philosophy. And it'll be interesting to see how they develop their car throughout the season, because most of the time we have seen Alfa Romeo do well in the first part of the season, first quarter, and then they just fall back as the season progresses. So this season, I really hope they put a lot of development and bring in fine times in every circuit they go. So मुझे लगता है they are just spreading their development throughout the season and not just investing everything in the beginning of the season. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Mm. Prashant.
SJ is not audible.
Sure.
Mm.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
what I was trying to say is just to add to what Arvind said, just to highlight his last point that they might be saving the development towards middle of the season or towards the end of the season, and not cooking everything too early. But cooking too much also spoils the dish. So it should not happen that you're
Exactly.
cooking too much and keeping it too much to the end or the middle, but till the time everything is blown out, your dish is spoiled. So that should also not happen. So they need to strategize the development in a very broad manner. Usually, last season we have seen that teams brought the upgrades to Australia, then to Spain and Baku, and after every 4 or 5 days, then Hungary is one, Belgium is one of them where the updates come. So these are quite a few races where the updates come. So let's hope that they don't cook it too much.
Last year the regulations were actually new. The cars were very much like newborn
Yeah.
babies, so they were developing at a rate of knots. So it's obvious that as the regulation sets in, the car's design matures much more. We will see much less of a development rate than we saw in the first year of those regulations. So
Again, makes sense.
to add to my point about Alpine and Alpha, so Alpine actually, I have held my judgment about that team, Alpha and Alpine, because I have not followed them that much throughout the testing. But from what I have seen, there are not certain alarm bells ringing, but they were fourth fastest team last year out, and this year they ran the car very subdued in testing. Then they had a nightmare of a race in Bahrain. Then yeah, points are good. They are scoring the points. That's good. But the car is actually too small. If you see from the rest of the grid, the wheelbase is shorter. Their cars. So there might I might be wrong. I might be right. But there are, I think, some alarm bells ringing because they are not making that much of a noise about their car or about their performances, because they have just been keeping a very low profile since testing. And Alpha, yes, they have partnered up with Ferrari. They will be becoming Audi from 2026. So the investment is coming, and the team is looking cheery because their design has been working. They are consistently fighting in the midfield, and Bottas and Joe Guan Yu they both are very much in synergy with the team. So I must say that that's working well for them, and we shall see when the development starts kicking in, the upgrade starts rolling in. We shall see how much of a leap each and every team makes, and I think Alpine and Alfa Romeo will be the centerpiece of our podcast.
Let's see. See, my thing is that last year Alpine was P4 and they were very closely fighting with McLaren for that point.
Exactly.
My point this year is that the P5 is of course wide open for Alpine. I think we all agree that P5 is really easy to achieve this year. McLaren is not in the mix, but again at the same time, as we know, Aston Martin has been making a lot of progress. They're P2 in the championship right now.
Yeah.
It might make it tough for them to reach P4 again because Mercedes, Ferrari, Aston Martin, and Red Bull are way ahead of them. Now, to get P4, a lot of things have to go right for Alpine. A lot of things have to probably make sense that aren't right now. The P4 might be open for contest between Mercedes, Aston Martin if Aston Martin falls down, and Ferrari. Now, where do we go from here? That's the question, right? Are they waiting for the mid season or the end season to make their upgrades, to make their cars faster, where the front runners would be probably taking penalties, where they want to score more points. Could be. I would say I would agree with SJ. Ki let's go from the start. Let's march ahead. Let's do the upgrades as quick as possible. Let's get into the mix and let's score points, man. Alpine has a good car. They have good drivers. The French are behind them, and I think they're gonna have a good year this year. Hopefully better than the last one. Hopefully they also come into contention in the next 2 3 years or probably 2026. They have a good backing, and yeah, I just hope the battle grows intense and more intense. That's all. About Alfa Romeo, yes, it hasn't worked out for the first two races. Again, मैंने उतना follow नहीं किया Alfa Romeo को. I am a Bottas fan for sure. लेकिन it's just I was a Mercedes Bottas fan. Let's say that. उसके बाद थोड़ा थोड़ा कम हो गया follow करना. लेकिन it's been
Oh,
good, man. I
smile.
think he's in his own. वो अपनी दुनिया में मस्त है अभी फिलहाल. As we know, Mercedes was an intense time for him. It was a very straining time for him. He has just relaxed a bit now. He has been coaching Zhou Guanyu, as we know, last year's Brazilian GP. We all heard the messages, the team radios, where he was helping Joe. Yeah, it's just they have good drivers again. Their philosophy of the car has been working. The car has been competitive. So yeah, I just hope they stay in the midfield, don't drop back by the end of the year, and yeah, just consistency is key for the teams in the midfield at the moment, and that should probably sum it up of what we are looking from the board from the two teams. So yeah, that's it. Any closing points from you guys for Australia? Anything that you want to specifically state and make any predictions? Probably they'd probably come right. जैसे Cristiano ने last time किया था. I'm very upset about it, but fuck it, it happened anyways. So yeah, over to you guys. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
I am not going to make any predictions this time around.
Safe.
So what I want is next. Yeah, no, not safe, but I just want to enjoy it. I don't want to get disappointed. अरे ये क्यों नहीं जीता? अरे ये क्यों नहीं आया आगे?
Mhm.
Like that. Just enjoy it on the face value. But what I would like to add is next 3 4 races which are going to happen are definitely going to set the title tone. Okay. What good is going to happen throughout the season? Who is going to battle home for P3, P4 in the construction championships? We never know. There is a possibility that Ferrari and Alpine are battling for P4 and P5. We never know. With Aston Martin going quick, they might be P2 and Mercedes sealing their P3 spot, or they might be fighting. Mercedes and Aston might be fighting for P2 and P3. Never know. But definitely, one thing is for sure: Red Bull are heads and shoulders above each other, above any other team at this point of time. Uh, I really want to see some uh, uh, bad luck coming to them, so that other teams win also. That's my take. That's my point.
Mm.
Yeah. So I'll make a bold prediction right now. So I I don't know whether I'll call it bold or not. Okay, जो भी है. So I want Red Bulls to get into a tussle and Max DNF. Uh, Sergio wins.
Okay.
With followed by I'm gonna go with Russell and Charles. Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
that's
No.
bold.
Okay.
That is
Yeah.
bold.
Yeah. I'll go with that.
That is bold. Honestly, that's bold. Okay, if this comes true, man, yeah, like that would take a lot of things to go right and go wrong,
And yeah.
respectively, for that to
Yeah.
happen. By the way, so yeah,
Yeah. So
that's
that's my
something to think
prediction.
about.
Yeah. And I would like to know कि मतलब एक न्यूज़ आया था कि there is a Stefano Domenicali, he was like he's looking to remove free practice sessions, and he was talking like the viewers are not liking it much, and he's considering it. He even
Okay.
went on to say that it it might be a bad news for the engineers, but that is what people want. So I want to
Wait,
know
what do you
what
mean?
you guys think. In the sense, most of them people are saying that the free practice sessions are quite boring, and the fans and
Mm-hmm.
Dominicali has gone on to say he's considering to remove these. FP1 sessions, FP2, FP3.
एक मिनट तो मतलब डायरेक्ट क्वालिफाइंग?
पता नहीं, I don't know. They might reduce the number of practice sessions or something is gonna happen. I saw a post on this. So
एक मिनट,
नहीं
दैट्स
नहीं,
सच अ बैड आइडिया मैन.
आई नो, डायरेक्टली नहीं निकाल सकते ऐसे यार, ऐसे कैसे?
नहीं
हाँ
ब्रो, आई लुक मैन, हियर्स द थिंग, हियर्स
उनको
द पॉइंट,
सेटअप
ओके.
के लिए तो चाहिए ना।
या अगर
नहीं,
पाक
मुझे
फॉर्म
लगता है कम
में,
करेंगे टाइम. हाँ
हाँ अगर पाक फॉर्म में स्टार्ट सीजन के स्टार्ट से सीजन के एंड तक रहता, आई वुड हैव गॉट इट, बट लाइक एवरी टीम मेक्स ट्वीक्स फॉर एवरी सर्किट, राइट? तो दिस वुड बी लाइक क्वालिफाइंग के बीच में सोच घुमा रहे हैं, फ्रंट विंग का एंगल चेंज कर रहे हैं, कुछ भी चल रहा है तो कैसा लगेगा पूरी टीम? That would be funny,
नो,
bro. That would be yeah. Maybe okay. मेरे को नहीं पता if this is true or not, but if they are thinking in that direction, I would say कि qualifying को फिर open कर दो, like make qualifying session for like 2 days or something, 2 sessions, right?
शायद
Basically,
sprint race
you can
खेलें.
put in, नहीं you can put in as many laps as you want, kind of a like practice or qualifying एक साथ mix. And some of them will of course be putting fast laps in the middle of the sessions, so that would be probably entertaining, but again it's a bad idea because as we know qualifying ka ek problem is ki traffic and how to reduce that, and with all the cars just free to go out, it's just, I don't think it's going to be that great, but yeah, this, I don't think this is going to work out well. It's just I like it man. 3 practice session is enough for the teams and enough for us not to get bored. For मेरे लिए at least इतना है. Now I get it, a lot of people don't have a lot of patience,
Yeah.
they only watch the races, but then they only watch the races, that's it. Like नहीं मत देखो, कोई problem नहीं है.
हाँ,
But yeah,
Saturday आ
this
जाओ,
I
Sunday आ
don't get
जाओ.
this. Yeah, I don't
के बाद
this is this I अरे
हाँ,
mute है रे
Krishna,
तू
you are
कृष्ण.
muted.
Mute है, mute है
Muted.
तू, mute.
You are muted.
ओह सॉरी सॉरी,
uh,
तो मेरे घर के
सब बोला
आसपास में
waste हो
गाने
गया.
बज रहे इसलिए. हाँ वेस्ट सभी वेस्ट हो गए. एसजे की दुआ है, क्या बोलेंगे. हमेशा चुप रहना पड़ता है. so my predictions will be, okay, this is a tough one. Seeing Red Bull's form this year, but their bogus form in Australia so many years, they've got onto the podium at least there, but I'll predict first and second place. First place for Red Bull probably. Like they have that car and they can break that duck with Melbourne this year. But it will be very close between Sergio and Max for the win. Or if it is not that case, then we might see Charles, Fernando, Lewis, and George fight it out. I'm going bold because yeah,
Okay.
Mercedes has that kind of downforce to go gel with this track, and I guess that they have found some temporary workaround to what they can do to enhance that their performance till the upgrade package of Imola comes. So yeah, second and first, second, third, it's all blown out between the 4 teams. Like anybody can get the win in Melbourne because Red Bull are struggling with their setup. It seems during the practice sessions and all, they are getting it right. The car is getting in the sweet spot, but it is taking time. And if these things continue, it might go and bite them in the later part of the season because they already have the least CFD and maintenance time. Plus, they have that penalty which they have got from the cost cap. So it will affect them in the middle part of the year, like so. But I'll say Max and Sergio for the win because Sergio has gone well on street circuits, but not in Melbourne, not on Melbourne. So Max and Sergio for the win, and for the rest of the podium, it will be either George, Lewis, Charles, Fernando. Anybody can be there because it's too cold.
Okay.
It's too close to call between Ferrari, Red Bull, and Ferrari, Mercedes, and Aston. It's too close to call.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And
मैं सिर्फ एक ही prediction करूँगा. It's just it's not nothing bold, nothing really bold, but we've been seeing, of course, Aston Martin has made up a lot of ground. Fernando Alonso is performing really well, But again, Stroll is there in Aston Martin and he's consistently performing. I would like to see him in the top 5 or score a podium maybe. It seems far-fetched. Of course, Fernando ka talent is just on the other level. We all know that. But yeah, I look, man, Stroll, honestly, Lance Stroll made me eat up my words. Everybody trolled him, everybody said shit about him, but man, he is performing, okay? Not at the level of Fernando Alonso, but that guy has 2 World Drivers' Championship and 20 years of F1 under his belt. This guy jumped from F3 back right into F1, and yeah, first couple of years not been really good for him, but I see a perfect future for him. So yeah, I think that sums up everything that we wanted to talk about Australian GP. If you have anything else, yeah, now's the last time. Let's go, guys. We're gonna hit 1 hour mark soon. That's all. That's cool. Is
Again,
that all we have?
That's cool.
Yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for joining us again. I know last episode थोड़ा सा delay हो गया, but this one I promise कि weekend से पहले मैं डाल दूंगा. And yeah, let's see if our predictions come true. Let's see if whatever we have discussed, if you agree with it, cool. If you don't, comments are right there. करो diss सबको, and we'll take up on it the next time. And we'll see you guys next time. Until then, yeah, enjoy the motorsports and enjoy racing.
and
Tada.
do like and subscribe our channel.
Oh yeah, don't
Australia,
forget that.
Australia,
All good always.
Australia, Australia, Australia.
All right, cool. That's
Right.
that's
Thank
all.
you guys. Yeah.
Yep, cool. आ गया मजा.
बड़ा मजा आया.
मजा तो हमेशा आता है यार, कब नहीं
यार
आता.
भाई यार, ये 1 घंटा ना मेरे को वीक में अच्छा लगता है कि एटलीस्ट वी गेट टू टॉक अबाउट व्हाट
एसजे चुप रहा कि नहीं
F1?
मैं ज्यादा.
क्या अबाउट एफ1.
मैं कहाँ कुछ बोल रहा हूँ यार, तू तो बिंदास बोला, तेरे को कौन मना कर रहा है, बिंदास बोल.
नहीं थोड़ा सा ऐसे रिव्यू दूंगे तो अच्छा लगेगा ना मेरे को कि कृषाणु
हाँ
चुप
हाँ
बैठता है.
नहीं,
बिंदास
वो
बोल यार,
देख,
कौन मना कर रहा है.
हम लोग पॉडकास्ट
बोलो
में
तो
चुप बैठने
एसजे
से
कुछ
होगा
तो
नहीं,
बोलो.
अपना व्यू रख देने
पोस्ट
का.
क्रेडिट सीन के लिए कुछ तो दो, कुछ तो कंटेंट दो.
आज बोले नहीं, आज
But-
विल प्ले सेफ, पिछली बार सब डाल दिया.
बट तूने नहीं, बट इसने बोल्ड प्रेडिक्शन में पहले चार्ल्स, फर्नांडो, देन रसल, फिर हैमिल्टन बोला है.
सब बोल
ये
दिया,
याद रखा
सारे
जा.
बोल.
ये अब इसको लेके पूरी कम्युनिटी मेरे पीछे पड़ेगी.
यस, अभी तो
पीछे
बोला
पड़े.
था हैमिल्टन फैन है.
हाँ.
वो किसी ने कुछ
हम-
तो लिखा
हाँ,
था कि कार मिल्टन फैंस वोंट अग्री, और मेरे को इतना फनी लगा रहा हूँ क्योंकि कार मिल्टन इज जस्ट टू
कार
फनी.
मिल्टन.
बहुत
यार,
फनी. कुछ तो
मतलब
किसी ने तो टेक दिया था,
अरे.
मेरे को याद नहीं है क्या हुआ था, बट वो या बाय द वे, इफ यू आर रिकॉर्डिंग ऑन एंड इफ यू आर नॉट येट, लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में है व्हाट्सएप का, व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप का. वी हैव काइंड ऑफ फन डिस्कशन, वी हैव काइंड ऑफ कंट्रोवर्शियल डिस्कशन जो हम यूट्यूब पे नहीं डाल सकते उधर. आके ज्वाइन करो एंड लेट्स हैव फन. ऑलराइट, कूल. दैट्स इट, दैट्स ऑल वी वांटेड टू से. Cool.
जी.
मैं कर रहा हूँ, फाइनली स्टॉप कर रहा हूँ रिकॉर्डिंग.
हम्म.
ओके, कूल. और क्या वीकेंड का क्या प्लान्स है? अच्छा, तुम्हारा तो होता है ना स्क्रीनिंग्स सबके सिटीज में?
नहीं यार,
नहीं,
अभी
नहीं,
फिलहाल
नहीं,
हो रहा.
खाली दिल्ली में ही कर रहे हैं
हाँ.
फिलहाल तो.
हाँ.
ओह, ऐसा है क्या? क्यों यार,
हमारा
बाय.
प्रोग्राम फेल हो गया ना स्क्रीनिंग का.
यार किसी के पास
ओ.
F1
मुंबई
टीवी
में
है क्या? मेरे साथ शेयर करो जरा सा. मेरे
F1 टीवी यार मेरा 6 लोगों से भरा हुआ है, बट आई विल आस्क अराउंड, क्योंकि वो लोग क्या कर रहे हैं ना, मेरे सारे दोस्तों ने लूप होल ढूंढ लिया वो ट्रायल वाला, तो सब अपने अपने अकाउंट से एक बार
अरे.
कर रहे हैं. पर मैं देखता हूँ,
अच्छा.
मेरा तो चालू रहेगा, तो मैं देखता हूँ, अगर जगह मिलती है तो आई
मतलब एक साथ 6 लोग देख सकते हैं क्या लाइव स्ट्रीम?
हाँ, हमने पिछली बार ट्राई
Exactly.
किया. चल 6 तो नहीं था, हम शायद 4 या 5 लोग एक साथ स्ट्रीम कर रहे थे और डिस्कॉर्ड
अच्छा,
कॉल पे
एक
साथ में
साथ
बैठे थे,
सब.
तो चल तो रहा था. हाँ, मतलब वो हमको भी डाउट था कि वो चलेगा कि नहीं, क्योंकि उन लोगों ने बोला कि रेस के टाइम पे नहीं चलेगा, बट सब चल रहा था. तो मैं 2 स्क्रीन यूज़
अच्छा.
करता हूँ, तो मैं एक में रेस लगाया था, एक में ड्राइवर कैम लगाया था, चल रहा था सब सही.
नहीं, मेरे को डिस्कॉर्ड सीरियसली नहीं समझ, नहीं
मेरे
सीरियसली
को भी नहीं
डिस्कॉर्ड नहीं
समझता
समझता,
है.
बहुत डिफिकल्ट है.
नहीं, डिस्कॉर्ड
बहुत डिफिकल्ट
मैं
है.
सब जान लिया. अरे हमारा काम उस पे चलता है रे, डिस्कॉर्ड पे.
हाँ.
हमारा कोई गूगल टीम्स नहीं है, हम लोग डिस्कॉर्ड पे वी वर्क ऑन डिस्कॉर्ड, बिकॉज सब
एसजे
बचपन से
को
जानते हैं
सिर्फ
कि भाई.
समझता है तो ट्विटर.
हाँ, बोला है ये
ट्वीट
बस.
ट्विटर और इंस्टा.
ट्विटर,
ट्विटर
इंस्टा,
यार मैं नहीं जाता
बस
ट्विटर
वही
पे.
कर
ट्विटर
रहा
पे बहुत ड्रामा होता है, मैं बोला थोड़ा दूर रहते उससे.
हूँ.
ड्रामा
F1
के बिना
ट्विटर तो
जिंदगी
बहुत
कहाँ मजा
बहुत
आती है.
वाइल्ड प्लेस है. F1 ट्विटर बहुत वाइल्ड प्लेस है. मैं जाता रहता हूँ ना बीच बीच में, ऐसे ऐसे कमेंट्स दिखते हैं मेरे को. मैं बोला मेरा दिन बन गया यार, छोड़ दो, और कुछ
अरे
नहीं देखना
ट्विटर ने खुद ने भी बहुत ट्राई किया कि मैं ट्विटर पे जाऊँ, मैंने अकाउंट बनाया एंड मैं कभी खोलता नहीं था, बट आता था नोटिफिकेशन कि यू नो व्हाट काइंड ऑफ नोटिफिकेशन ट्विटर सेंड्स।
हाँ
तो बहुत दिया, लेकिन मैं बोला कि नहीं, आई वोंट गिव इन टू दिस, आई एम सॉरी मैन, आई ट्राइड ट्विटर, आई ट्राइड।
मैंने ट्विटर मतलब डाउनलोड ही वो WTF1 का वो रहता है ना, रिएक्शन
अच्छा अच्छा।
ट्वीट,
हाँ हाँ।
उसी के लिए किया था। मैं करता हूँ ट्वीट और मैं उनका वीडियो जाके देखता हूँ कहीं मिल गया कि स्टीयरिंग व्हील मिल गया क्या, स्टीयरिंग व्हील मिल गया क्या, मैं कुछ नहीं होता।
ओह मैन, आई मीन ट्विटर यार,
यार
वैसे ही ना लाइफ में बहुत ड्रामा चल रहा है, बिकॉज है ड्रामा इन जनरल, तो अभी और नहीं चाहिए, तो मैं बोला कि इंस्टाग्राम रखते हैं अपना, इंस्टाग्राम पे वी आर गुड। वैसे भी इतना सोशल मीडिया गेम है नहीं मेरा, तो ठीक है, चल जाते काम ऐसा, व्हाटएवर विद
मेरा भी नहीं है,
दोस्तों
मैं
यार
बस
में।
जो IFF1 के लिए थोड़ा बहुत कर लेता हूँ, बस वही।
यार मैंने अपने चैनल के ऑनेस्टली इंस्टाग्राम पे शुरू किया था, लाइक आई आई पोस्टेड रील्स एंड स्टफ, बट इट्स टू मच वर्क टू बी ऑनेस्ट, लाइक अभी इतना सारा काम वैसे ही चल रहा है, एंड विद दैट लाइक गेम प्ले वीडियोस जो भी मैं अपने चैनल पे डालता हूँ वो तो ठीक है, उसमें एडिट करने में ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं निकलता है, तो वो तो चल जाता है, बट रील्स बनाने में थोड़ा ज़्यादा टाइम चला जाता है, तो
नेक्स्ट पॉडकास्ट में ऐसे थोड़ा टी शर्ट पहन लो और थोड़ा सा यंग दिख जाओ, थोड़ा
क्या,
के
अरे
शर्ट वर्ट
ना
में
यार
बहुत
सही है।
ज्यादा फॉर्मल लुक आता है, फॉर्मल
चलेगा
लुक
ना,
आ
मैं
जाता है बहुत।
थोड़ा सा चेंज के लिए ही
एक
पहना
इंसान
एक्चुअली
दिखना चाहिए ना
मैंने।
हु इज होल्डिंग द ग्राउंड, वरना फिर ऐसे सब बच्चों की
हाँ
अरे बाप
तरह
रे,
हाँ,
चोरी चालू करेंगे।
हम तीन बच्चे लग रहे हैं,
हाँ
कौन
वही
देखेगा।
बच्चे की तरह भाग रहे इधर उधर।
वही बहुत ज़्यादा एनर्जी हो जाता है, तो वो एक चाहिए कि अरे
हाँ,
भाई थोड़ा
हम्म।
शांति
रुक
चाहिए।
जाओ चलो।
तो
नहीं नहीं,
पकड़ के
वैसा
पर्दा
कोई
बंद
रखेंगे।
करो,
इंटेंशन नहीं था,
इधर
बट
आओ।
मेरे हाथ में यही शर्ट आ गया तो मैंने पहन लिया है, बाकी जैसा
नहीं नहीं,
ढूंढने का टाइम नहीं
नो
मिला।
ऑफेंस, नो ऑफेंस, बट ऐसे ही बोला मैं कि थोड़ा सा ऐसा यंग लुक आएगा तो ऐसा लोगों को भी ऐसा वाइब्रेंट लगेगा कि हाँ भाई यंग लोग मिलके कर रहे
क्या
हैं सब।
फर्क पड़ता है,
ये तो सीधा ही
अपन
बोल दिया,
यंग है
देखो
दिल
ये
से।
तो सीधा ही बूढ़ा बोल दिया, मैं तो फिर भी एक्सपीरियंस बोला था।
मैं बूढ़ा नहीं बोला,
अपन दिल से
मैंने पूरा
जवान है,
बोला
क्या
कि
फर्क पड़ता है।
बोले
हाँ
यंग दिखना
हाँ, तो
चाहिए तो
मैंने
बूढ़।
मैंने क्या बोला, सब जवान दिखने चाहिए, तो क्या बोला मैंने,
अच्छा अच्छा।
ऐसा
चलो
थोड़ी
अब
है।
फाइनली स्टॉप रिकॉर्डिंग करते हैं। या
ये